Jane Lynch, congratulations on receiving your latest Emmy nomination for Best Actress in a Short Format Series for Dropping the Soap. Tell us a little bit about getting the news you'd been nominated for this show.
Well, my agent called me first thing in the morning, and I got to tell you, even though I knew I was being submitted, it was a big surprise. And I'm really happy that it's going to hopefully bring more eyeballs to our web series called Dropping the Soap. And, you know, I was really proud to be a part of it. We did it on our own nickel, and it's very funny, a lot of funny people in it. And so I'm just really happy for that.
Tell us a little bit about the show and what got you interested in doing it.
Well, Paul Witten is a very good friend of mine, and he had been working on it with Mandy Fabian and Kate Mines for a couple of years. They were kind of working on the script, and then they decided to shoot it. And I said to Paul, I said, look, let me give you a little money for this because I think it's really funny. And then he said, do you want to be in it? And I said, yes. And so I came on as a producer as well. And Paul created the character that I play, this woman, Olivia Vanderstein, and she's the executive producer brought in by the network to save dropping, or the soap opera Collided Lives, which is fighting for relevance. It's kind of circling the drain and is about to be canceled. No one's watching soap operas anymore. And of course, for all the actors on the soap opera, it's their life, and there's probably no life for them after Collided Lives. So I put them through their paces. I have them do ridiculous things. And I have them all fight against each other. You know, she's the typical kind of person, that executive that comes in and shakes everything up.
I wonder, having worked in Hollywood for so long, did you base this character on anybody? You don't have to give us any names, but where did you draw inspiration from?
Definitely a combination, a combo platter of things I've heard and some things that I've witnessed. You know, before I was in Glee, I did guest spots on sitcoms and, oh my gosh, dramas, procedurals. I did all that stuff. So I've been all over television just as a guest star actor, and you know, I saw a lot. And so indeed, and also there are those people who kind of, and Sue Sylvester, I guess, is the same kind of person. They enjoy creating chaos and keeping people off balance. And you know, but the thing about Olivia is that she does it with such stealth and such a confidence and such, you know, she makes herself very attractive to everybody. She's very charming, but she will put a knife in your back, not even your back, but right through the front of your heart when you least expect it.
And I mean, she's filled with so much vitriol.
Yeah.
I wonder, as an actress, was it fun for you to play a character like that?
Yes, it was really fun. In fact, one of my favorite scenes is with Paul. Paul plays the soap opera actor who is, you know, in his early 50s at this point, and once this soap opera is over, his life is basically over in terms of being a paid actor ever again. And we have a meeting, and what is going on inside each of us is never spoken. It's a very cordial meeting, and we say kind of you know, benign things, but for me, it's all laced with a threat. He doesn't even know if I'm being honest or serious. And I love, just kind of like my cat kills a mouse. You kind of play with them first.
Right. Well, I mean, you do that with all the characters. I wonder if you could talk a bit about working with the ensemble of actors and what that dynamic was like.
Well, this was a really great, and it is an ensemble of actors. There's Kate and Mandy and Paul. Mandy actually was more of the writer. She had a small part in it. But we had John Michael Higgins and Missy Pyle and a bunch of other people that you will recognize. And so every day it was a different group of people coming in, but there were a core 7 or 8 of us. And it was very much an ensemble. The script was written very well, so we did very little in terms of improvising, but we still were, you know, got to be very creative on our feet. We had great direction, and the great thing about doing these for nothing in terms of money, I think we paid the actors $100 a day, is that you get people who show up because they want to be there. So our crew, you know, made a nickel. The food was the best I've ever eaten on a set. They really put, well, I was one of the producers too. We put money into the food, so people would show up and they would feel well fed and taken care of. We had makeup artists who worked for, you know, a fraction of their fees, and we had a camera package that was I think we got that for free, actually. So a lot of people donated, a lot of people you know, showed up for free or just for, you know, a token amount of money. So, and when you have that, there's always that goodwill, and there's always, let's put on a show. And that's definitely evident in the playful tone of it too. I mean, everybody's having a blast.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact that this is a web series, and I wonder, I mean, working in that kind of format, what are some of the, I mean, obviously the cost is a big difference between that and, say, Glee, but doing something that is 10 minutes long, 8 minutes long, 12 minutes long, can you talk about creating a 3-act story in that kind of a format?
Well, that was the job of our writers. They really put it together. It's about 100 minutes of content. So they shaped it as 100 minutes of like 100-minute piece. And then we went in and chopped it up into the 10 minutes. But we had our whole arc and the whole story, which is about 100 minutes. And then we went in and made them into 10-minute episodes. Some of them are 7 minutes and some are 12 minutes. You know, it wasn't exactly 10, but that was the average. So you start out with your story, and then you go in and you chop it up.
Okay, so then for you as an actress, I mean, you're thinking of this in terms of like a whole thing as opposed to like, I need to have an arc within 7 minutes.
No, you don't do that at all. I let them worry about that, how they're going to edit it. So, you know, I looked at it as the whole piece, and, you know, I built my arc from there.
It's a revolutionary thing, too. I mean, the fact that this content is becoming so much easier to make, I mean, and the fact that the Emmys are recognizing it. Can you talk a bit about that?
Well, you know, if it gets more eyes to our web series, that's the best thing in the world. You know, getting a nod from the Emmys is really huge. Now people will go, oh, you know, what is this about? And they'll look into it, and, you know, you can watch all of them in one sitting and have a... As
I did.
Yeah, oh, good. Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it, yes.
Well, what if you didn't? That would be really uncomfortable. It's really fun. And you know, great quality. And one of the things that I love about it is when we shot the soap opera content, we shot it just like a soap opera. We lit it just like a soap opera. And then when you see the backstage shenanigans and the backstabbing, it's all with that kind of reality handheld camera. So, you know, 2 different styles are pretty awesome. But yeah, you know, it's a great thing to get the Emmy nominating committee to look at it and then to actually give me the nomination. You know, I'm really honored, and I'm so happy for our show. And because of it, I get to have talks with you. And I spoke with the Hollywood Reporter today. We're probably going to have a panel at the SAG-AFTRA. You know how they do a panel, and I mean, it's just really great because we all worked really hard on this, and now we have a chance to promote it and let people know that it exists, because today we are in the golden age of television. There is so much content, and so much of it's so good. And so we just want to make sure that we get our little audience out of there, that people will, you know, put eyeballs on our really funny, I think, high quality product.
Absolutely. High quality and also high comedy, I think, is what's really striking about it. I mean, you mentioned the soap opera aspects of it, and that's, of course, very absurd. But everything going on backstage is absurd as well. Can you talk about doing comedy that's pitched that kind of absurd?
Yeah, absolutely. So the soap opera itself is, you know, not far from soap operas. It's overly dramatic, overly scored, but, you know, the actors are very contained. And there's a lot of, like, Paul's character has a thing in his contract that he gets 4 or 5 close-ups per episode, you know, and so the camera comes in, and he's always got a light on his beautiful blue eyes. And so the episode will end on him having a very deep thought, just like a soap opera. And then backstage, everybody is out of their minds, worried about their jobs. Are we going to get canceled? Does Olivia know that my character's name is Olivia? Does Olivia know who I am? I kind of want her to know who I am. And then on the other hand, I don't want any trouble. So it's a lot of people trying to please me and also trying to stay out of my trajectory. So that's kind of a wacky thing. And the great thing about my character, what I got to do, I just got to play it stealthy, and quiet, and targeted, and you know, just dangerous, which I enjoy immensely.
And she really is a killer too. I mean, I think about that moment where you cut one of the actresses from the show because the audience voted her off.
Right, exactly. We took a thing from Survivor, and that people got voted off. That's just how it works. And how I, in the first meeting, is I'm meeting all the actors, and I fire the 2 oldest people in the cast. I'm like, you 2 out, because they're, you know, they're over 50. And they say, and I say, anybody who's over 30, watch your back. And then I ask them for their personal information. I ask them for their height, their weight, their social media passwords and handles, their weight. So she has a thing about knowing how much everybody weighs. You're probably going to do weigh-ins. That'll probably be the second season.
Speaking of second season, I was wondering, have there been scripts or a script written for that? Or
a script ready to go, and we're just waiting for somebody to hand us some money.
Well, I hope the best of luck with that. Can you give us any insight into what season 2 would look like?
I don't know, but Mandy does. So I'm sure she'll talk about it. But it's going to be more of the same. Well, you'll have to see. Well, you know, Julian Drake, who, you know, Paul's character, he comes out as a gay man at the end with a hilarious monologue, and he's gonna have his first love affair, because even though he's a gay man, he's been closeted all of his 50 years, and he's gonna finally have I don't know if he'll have a relationship, but he's gonna get lucky.
I look forward to it. I wanted to ask you some questions. You've won 3 Emmys. 1 for Glee and 2 for Hollywood Game Night. I wonder if you could talk a bit about what that recognition meant for you.
Oh, well, it's an amazing thing. You know, you're just going along your merry way, doing the best that you can do and enjoying the heck out of it. And to have somebody call your name and to come up and get that beautiful award is a real high point, you know. But it's just a joy to do the work that, you know, I get to do and that all actors get to do. I love it.
Well, with Glee in particular, I mean, that was a show that really made you a household name. You'd been working for so long, and finally this opportunity came along and gave you a great character that people still love. Can you talk a little bit about what that series meant for you?
Sure. Well, you know, before that, I had been, as I told you, I was I certainly wasn't toiling, but I was enjoying the hell out of it. I was doing a variety of roles as guest spots. So you go in and you do your thing and you leave. And I always wanted to stay. I wanted the job where you get to stay. And then Ryan Murphy gave me that. And the character, actually, Sue Sylvester, was not in the pilot originally. And Kevin Riley, who was the head of Fox at the time, said to Ryan, "You need a villain." And this was the story that Ryan said. Her name shall be Sue Sylvester. She'll be the cheerleading coach, and she will be played by Jane Lynch. So if that's true, well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, and the great thing about that character is that, you know, tongue in cheek, Ryan kind of created it after his own self, and he taught me how to do the Sue Sylvester walk. He said, "This is how you walk into a room," and, you know, Ryan has that kind of way about him. So he was my first inspiration, and he knew it.
He certainly does. And of course, that led to Hollywood Game Night, which was a new kind of challenge for you. I mean, becoming a game show.
Out of nowhere, too. You know, that came out of nowhere. And Glee allowed me to do it because it was supposed to be 6 episodes. And that was it. And, you know, Sean Hayes invited me to do it. And I had never hosted anything like that before. Of course, at that point, I think I had done the Emmys for sure. But and I like hosting. I've always liked it. I do it for charities. I do it for galas and stuff like that. I really enjoy it. So when this came up, it was a little more involved than, you know, I had to learn games and stuff like that. But the 6 went really well, and NBC ordered an entire episode. So I was now on a second primetime show, and it was a pretty nice time. It was a pretty good thing, and of course Hollywood Game Night won me 2 Emmys as well, which was a joy. And you know, we're in our 5th season now. 5th? Yeah, 5th.
I think so, yes. Speaking of hosting the Emmys, our viewers would kill me if I didn't ask you what that experience was like.
Well, because it was, yeah, sure. It was my first time doing it, so I had probably more anxiety than I needed to have. Your job's basically over after the opening number. You know, whatever you do. For me, anyway, it was. I had. After that, all I had were some taped pieces and just keeping the show moving along. So the most important thing, I would say, is relax. Have great confidence in whatever that opening bit is going to be, and have terrific joke writers. And I did. I had great joke writers. Jill Soloway was my head writer, and she, of course, is the showrunner for I Love Dick and Transparent. Yeah, she's an old friend from Chicago, and her sister Faith and I, all 3 of us, we've been friends for a long time. And her mom too. Her mom is a good friend. And so when they said, "What writers do you want?" I said, "I want Jill and Faith Soloway," and they became my head writers. But I also had like Dana Gould. I had some really great people back there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was certainly a wonderful ceremony. Jane, thank you so much, and congratulations again on the nomination. I look forward to season 2 of Dropping the Soap.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.